Welcome, my name is Angelo Carbone and I'd like to thank you for purchasing my item called The Gift. Before I tell you what we receive, I'd like to tell you a little bit about how I came up with the effects. It was actually an effects that I thought it wouldn't it be nice if I could have a box that I could fool Penn and Teller with, where your hands off with the box and there's a protection inside and you don't have to touch anything and someone can just open it up and remove an item from inside. So that was a premise. It's not a totally hands-free, but that was a premise of where I wanted to come from. So I came up with this box and figured out there needs to be something special about the box. So that's kind of how I came up with it, and just for experimentation. I like gimmicks, I like flaps, I like magnets, I like things like that, and this is what I came up with.
I prepared a gift for you, and I keep two things inside. One thing that you're going to see now and one thing that you're going to see later on, right? Mm-hmm. So the thing that you're going to see now, I don't want you to pick what's inside there, but it's a deck of cards and there's something else inside which we're going to come back to that. So what I want you to do is I want you to start, take the deck and take the cards out of the box and just start dealing face-up cards until you don't want to deal anymore.
Okay. As far as I want?
Yep. All right, so take this card and put it here.
Face down?
Yep, I want you to see it here.
Okay.
So I told you that I keep something inside the box, and I want you to see that the box is locked from all the sides, correct? Mm-hmm. And I told you that I keep something inside, and I want you to see that there's something inside really, right? I want you to take it and open it.
Okay.
And see what's inside. What is inside?
A piece of paper?
Is there anything else inside?
No.
Okay, put it aside.
Can I open it?
Just open it, yeah, sorry. Nine of diamonds. Do you want to turn it over?
Turn it, I swear to God. Can I check these?
Yeah, sure.
Can I hit you?
You can hate me as much as you like. And that's my gift for you.
Before I show you more details, let me just tell you what you get actually. You get your box. Your box may look completely different to this, but it all operates exactly the same way. Inside the box, you have a special thumb tip. You have a special deck of cards, and you have your special box, which we'll come to in a moment. The thumb tip has a magnet that's inside. Okay, some glue and some magnet inside which fits onto your thumb. It's meant to be very short. The deck of cards is a special deck of cards because, move these out of the way, there's some repetition of cards in there. So banks of 4 cards that are repeated every other card. So queen, there's a 2, there's 6 and 9. A queen of 2 is 6 and 9. A queen of 2 is 6 and 9 with a indifferent card in between each card. This is known as a Coran force deck. Again, your deck of cards may have different cards, but you'll have 4 cards that are repeated every other card throughout the entire deck, except for the last batch, which are completely a few random cards. So this is known as a Coran force deck. These 4 cards relate to 4 sides of the box, and 4 sides of the box contain 4 special flaps which contain the 4 predictions. We'll go to that into detail right in a moment. So let me show you what's so special about this box, and it's quite clever if I say so myself, and also my magical colleague friends said so as well. It's very cool because you have this special thumb tip with a magnet inside, and inside each wall is a magnet as well. But the magnets do not attract, they repel each other. If I place the thumb tip with the magnet right to the middle of this box, you'll find the sweet spot, and look what happens. A flap opens up, and out comes your prediction. Okay, I'll do that again with another side. Find the sweet spot, which is around about the middle. And another prediction comes out. And there's a prediction on each side of the walls. That's really cool, don't you think? You just go like that. and the prediction comes out. When you receive your thumb tip, it'll be quite long, but I recommend you cut it down so it's really, really short. So get a pair of scissors and just cut all the way around it until it's really, really short onto the knuckle. There's no need for it to be excessively long, you just no need. Just cut it so it's really on the knuckle like that. It's really tight, it's small and it's compact, like so. So we need to set up the trick, okay? What you need to do then is go through your force deck that comes with the trick and look for the 4 repeating cards. In this case it's a queen, a diamonds, a 2 of spades, a 6 of hearts and a 9 of clubs. If you're not too sure which ones they are, just go through and look for the 4 cards that are repeating every other card. So these are my 4 force cards. Again, yours may differ. You'll also receive 4 pieces of blank Tyvek paper and make some spares. And what you need to do is use a Sharpie pen, write down each of your force cards on each of the pieces of paper. 9 of clubs for one, for example, 6 of hearts for another, etc. 2 of spades and queen of diamonds. Okay, so now we need to put the pieces inside the box. I'm going to show you how to load up the box. To start with, we need to identify one side of the box, which will be the rear of the box facing you. Your box may have a small mark, a printing mark on one side of the box, so just look around the box until you find it. If it doesn't, just make a small pencil mark or a pen mark. In this case I've used a dot. Any marking or any dot so you know which side is which. In this case I always keep the dot side facing me, so I know this is one orientation. Okay, get your prediction pieces of paper and put them in an order that you know. And you're going to place them in an orientation around the box in the order that you want. It might be in ascending order, it might be a descending order, it might be related to the faces of a clock. For example, this is correct for your orientation. A queen could go here, for example. This is at 3 o'clock, this is at 6 o'clock, this is at 9 o'clock. So you can put something that's 9 here, a 6 there, a 3 or a queen, or anything close to those numbers on each side. So as long as you know which card prediction goes on which side, that's what you need to do. So to open up the box, you put your thumb tip on, you place it towards the center, you find the sweet spot. You'll find that the magnet wants to move it around it in a circle. It doesn't want to actually go on it. So you need to actually move right into the middle. You'll feel the force, you feel the repulsion, and then you just find it, and there it goes, pops open. And allow the gravity to open up the flap. It swings open. Then use your finger to completely open it like so. And then you've got your access to the special compartment. And that's where you place your piece of paper inside. For example, this is side 6. So let's find that's the queen. That's 2. That's the 9. So the 6 goes here. Fold up into nice sharp quarters, like so. Make a nice crease, put it inside. Now when you put it inside, make sure that the folded spine is towards the outside of the box. And I, just as a personal preference, put the folded edge on that side as well. Put it inside the cavity. Make sure it's completely inside. And do not put it like this. Okay, it's got to go hinge it outwards. That's most important. And then close the flap like so. There you go, you've loaded one section. And you repeat each side with the remaining pieces of paper, again using the magnet to open it up like so, and just put each piece inside each of the boxes. So now that your box is loaded up with each of the 4 predictions, make sure you know which side is which. There's my mark there, so I know this side, in my case, is a 6, and I know where each of the remaining predictions are. Put the deck back in the box. Oh, and make sure that your setup is your first force card is second from the top. It's not the very first one, it's second from the top. And I just like, again, to have it in an order that I know, okay? So your deck goes in the box. Place it in a diagonal like so, facing me, and there's my mark. And what's the beauty of this box as well is you can have the magnet inside like so, which sticks to the inside wall. See that? The magnet's attached to it. and the lid is on top of the box. It's all self-contained, it's all ready to go, which is quite cool. So, to begin with, what you do, have it facing you with the mark, reach inside, take off the lid, be careful not to expose too much, otherwise I'll see the thumb tip, so you want to like necktie, so to speak, tilt it towards yourself a little bit. Go inside, your thumb goes straight inside the thumb tip. Once it's on your thumb, just move it slightly to dislodge it from the magnet inside. Take your hand out, move the deck forward, and place your thumb behind to remove the deck of cards. You've got all the cover you want on there. So it looks like you're just removing the lid and taking out the deck of cards. Again, do not flash it inside, because apparently there's a prediction in there. So you're going to tilt it in there a bit, tilt it towards yourself a little bit. Put the lid back on, like so, and then move the box aside. And then what I do is I hand this to someone and tell them to take the cards themselves out of the box. And what I usually do is I have my thumb at the edge of the table like so. If you don't want to have the thumb tip inside the box, you can have it on your lap, under your knee, under your leg, wherever you want. You can steal it from. For example, under there, like so. You can have it in your trouser pocket, wherever you want to put it. Just you can steal it at a moment's notice. So the spectator takes the cards out of the box, like so. And I just instruct them, I just tell them what to do basically. I say, please can you deal the cards face up into a pile, one at a time, and stop whenever you like, and you can go as far as you like. So they start dealing the cards like so, into a neat pile. And tell them to do it in a neat pile. If you want to, now and again you can square up the cards. Now don't be worried that they might see what the force cards are, because, or the repeating cards, because they will not know which card to look for. So they just continue dealing. And I've shown this to many notable and respected magicians and completely flown by them. So anyhow, they stop at a card. For example, this one here, 9 of clubs. If you know it's one of your force cards, then you can use the card that's being dealt face up. If it's not one of your force cards, for example, if they've stopped here, it's a 7, you'll know that the next face down card is one of your force cards. If that's the case, you just ask them to place it face down the side. And you say, if you could carried on dealing, just deal a few more, you could see you could have stopped it anywhere you wanted to, but you stopped at this face down card. Also, if you've been keeping track, you know what this card is, even without turning it over, because you know what comes next in your sequence. For example, this is a 9, so I know this is a queen. There we go, the Queen of Diamonds. So I actually know what it is without actually looking at it. So if I know that's the Queen of Diamonds, I will know, based on my mark, that it's on this side of the box. So let me just put my thumb tip on. So I'm going to put my thumb tip on, or it should be on already if you haven't put it on already. Put it on now. Okay. So I know my mark is there 6, and I know that's a queen, so I'm going to turn the box around like this, so the queen side is facing me. And I'm going to pick up the box like so. As I pick up the box, you can see how much cover I've got. The box completely covers up my thumb tip. It's got a lot of cover, so it's completely safe. I'm going to find a sweet spot, and I'm going to open up the magnet to open up the flap. You'll hear a little noise. Right, there you go. And then what I do is actually shake the box. So can you hear something's inside it? And I shake the box. Now this is something very important. Once you opened up the flap, you've got to move your thumb away from the sweet spot, because if you don't, it's just going to stay open the entire time. It will not be able to close. So once you've opened it, move your thumb to the side, so that allows the flap to close. And basically what you want to do, you can kind of tell by the sound and the shaking when the flap's closed. And you say, here, there's something inside, can you open the box for me? And you come out and away from the box. So the beauty of this effect is the spectator can take the box themselves, and you're completely hands-free from this point on, and you do not touch the prediction. You ask them to look around if you want to. And meantime, let me just get rid of my thumb tip, because you've got all the time you want to get rid of the thumb tip. And just for purposes of explanation, they remove the lid inside, the lid from the top, and inside is a piece of paper with the prediction inside. They reach inside, they open it up, it says the Queen of Diamonds, and you ask them to turn over the card, and indeed, it is indeed the Queen of Diamonds that matches. So the card will either be the force card will either be the face card, or it'll be the face down card. You'll know which one it is. To reset the effect, all you need to do is just replace everything back in the order that the reverse order that you did. So, for example, you put the Queen back here, and the other cards you dealt, and then everything else back face down on top of the balance of the cards, like so. And they'll completely reset. I want to give you some pointers also when the spectator's dealing the card. when the spectator's dealing the card, you might get confused yourself which are the force cards, or they might deal fast and it might be difficult to keep track of what's going on. So as they're dealing the cards to yourself, as the spectator's dealing the cards to yourself, in your mind, if I can say it loudly now, in your mind just say out the cards. Just go like this. For example, Queen, 2, 6, 9, Queen, 2, 6, 9, Queen, 2, etc. You're saying this in your mind, so you're keeping track, so it's easy to follow which ones are the force cards, etc. So you know when it's a force card and when it's not. If you see another 2 cards like this, 2 identical cards that match, square up the cards, but generally that doesn't usually happen, so don't worry about it. So they stop at a card and you know, for example, if that's this force card or not, because you know what's in the sequence and you've been saying it in your mind. So that's a nice little tip for that. Just to clarify about your force deck, so your force deck will consist of 24 force cards and 24 regular cards interlaced with one another. Well, that will make 48 cards in total. So because of that, you're going to have an extra 4 random cards on the face of the deck. That's just to create the thickness of 52 playing cards. So you mustn't cut the deck, but you can just get them to deal with the cards and stop whenever they want. I doubt they'll go all the way to 52 cards, and they can't actually, because the last 4 cards are not force cards, but by then they should get a bit bored and tired and want to stop anyway. So as long as they stop within 48 cards, then you're completely safe with that. Also, you'll probably get some other slips of blank pieces of paper. Obviously I've written the force cards on here. You can write whatever you want on them. They can be colours, they can be ESP symbols. You can also even have folding bills. For example, you can have a $1, $5, $10 and $20 bills folded up into quarters or small segments and put them inside the walls. So any flat objects that can fit inside, or you can place instead of the toilet paper. You can also use ordinary paper. The reason why we use toilet paper is because it's got some springiness into it. So when it comes out into the box, it actually opens and expands, and it fills up the box a bit more, as opposed to flat pieces of paper, which when landed inside the box will be quite flat. But that's your choice if you want to use some additional bits of paper, or coloured paper, for example. You can do that as well. Hi, I'm Angelo. Your name is?
Hello, Vet.
Vet. Nice to meet you, Vet. I'm going to show you something that's quite cool, I think. Inside this box is a few things. There's a piece of paper, a deck of cards, and we'll come back to the rest in a moment. That's actually some instructions. Could you open up the piece of paper and read out aloud what they are and follow them step by step? What's the first step?
First step, hold deck face down.
Okay, so take the cards outside the box. Step 2.
Name a number between 1 and 52. Let's say 18.
18, that's fine, okay. Step 3.
Deal the cards face up and stop at your number.
Okay, you can deal them to my hands, that's fine. Face up, please.
Oh, face up.
That's all right.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 14, 15, 16,
17 and 18. The next card, face up, is a 2. Should you have chosen 19 or 20, you can see there are different cards as well. Right, you can put the cards down. What's step 4 say? Unfortunately, it seems like it's been torn off, right?
Yeah, that's true.
The actual other half is inside this box. Remember I said there's a few things inside the box. Can you actually hear it? There's something else.
Yeah.
That's the other half of this piece of paper. Take off the lid yourself and pull out the piece of paper and unfold it. Yeah. You might need to put the 2 halves together so you can read what step 4 says. What does it say?
You could have stopped at any number.
Correct, true.
Yeah, that's true. You could have chosen any card.
Yeah.
That's true. And yet you freely chose the 2 of spades.
There you go. There's 2 of spades. And you can see a few match up. 2 of spades.
Oh, good.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Hello and welcome to this bonus video. since recording the first pass of the instructions, I've discovered a new way to perform this effect, which I think makes it quite strong. In essence, the effect is the same, it's just a different presentation and handling. So I'd like to take you through how to construct it. Hopefully you would have seen a performance of this version with the two torn halves, but I'm going to explain what you need to do and how to make it. So let's begin. First of all, you need to decide on what paper you want to use. You can get a notebook which has lined paper, like so. You can use blank paper or an exercise book. I kind of like these pieces of paper because they've got traditional lines and printing on them, so you know like it's just a normal piece of paper, it's nothing fancy. If you use a blank piece of paper, it will make the setup more easy, but I prefer the lined ones. So just for purposes of this video, I'm going to use this lined paper. So find your notebook, take out 4 sheets. You need 4 sheets because there's 4 predictions. There you go. Just tidy up a little bit. You can make this a bit neater if you want. There you go. So now we need to cut them to size. We need to cut them to size, so you know the exact size to put inside the box. For this we need something, which is over here, a piece of paper. This is your original template piece of paper that comes inside your gift box, and you need to make sure obviously that it fits inside. So what you need to do is square up the pieces of paper, position your original Tyvek piece of paper on top, make a line along the side, and also, there you go, the scissors. Now you know the width that you need to cut the paper. So just cut it like so. So this is the correct width, so you know it will fit inside the box. Okay, like so. Next you need to make sure the torn off half is the correct height. Okay. By the way, it doesn't matter what the height of the whole paper is, because the top half will never be put inside the secret compartment. It's only the bottom half that will go in the secret compartment. So this can be as long as you want, with as much writing on it as you want, but it's just the bottom half that's going inside the box. I'm just going to neaten this up a bit, like so. So, again, what you need to do is to line up the pieces of the ruled line. It's important that the ruled line, can you see this here? If I go like that, it's important that every single one is directly on top of another. So that one's slightly off, so you've got to move it a little bit. Next one as well. That's way off, can you see that? So you've got to move it. So all the lines have got to be on top of one another. The reason is, if you tear it in a moment, and then when you're trying to line them up, the lines instead of will be a bit like this. They'll be misplaced. They won't be in alignment. This is why if you use a blank piece of paper, you don't need to worry about this. But I actually prefer using lined. It's just mean you've got to be a bit more precise. Okay. So again, place your template piece of paper on top. Draw a pencil line so you know the height. Don't worry, you can rub out these pencil lines afterwards. So now you know you've got to tear below this, not above it, because if you tear it below it, then once you fold it into quarters, it will fit inside, so below this line. So now you've got to make your template for the tear line. What I found is this piece of plastic. You can use a bit of hard cardboard or some other plastic around the home, and you need to cut into it a jagged line. So I've got a pair of scissors here, and I'm just going to cut a jagged line like this. Doesn't matter how bad or crude it is. Probably the worse it is, the better actually. Like so. Push this aside. You see that? A jagged line. This is your sharp edge to tear against. So if you don't have a good enough pressure to hold down, you might want to clip all of this together like so. With a bulldog clip, but I'm going to do it just like this without it. So line them up. So imagine they're all lined up. I'm just doing this for speed, but imagine it's all lined up. You place your jagged edge just below the pencil line, because you know that's the height, not above it, because then it's too tall. It's got to be below it, like that. And you're going to tear like this. So all 4 pieces of paper are going to have exactly the same tearing pattern. Here we go. And just do it bit by bit. And move towards the template, like so. Can you see what I'm doing there? Yeah, four pieces of one. Continue again. Always tearing against the plastic. So once you've removed it, what you should have is 4 pieces of paper with the exact same tear pattern. So this is, you're nearly there now, okay? So you've got 4 pieces and 4 at the top. You're going to only need one of these, because obviously one of those is going to be the steps 1 to 4, and the other ones are going to have the 4 predictions on them. So the other 3 are spare. They're good to practice with, to practice your writing, your lining, your line spacing, etc. So let's move on. Okay, just clear up a little bit. So we have that, and we have 4 pieces, like so. Next, you need to choose what pen you're going to use. Some pens bleed through, the ink bleeds through the paper, and you need to make sure which one you use. I think it's water-based inks are better than alcohol-based. For example, I've done some test pens, written out with some test pens like this. And then what you do, find some pens around the home, write on them with whatever you want, turn them over, and you can see which ones bleed through. Sharpie pens have got alcohol in them, so they bleed through. Now, I must say, there is nothing against using Sharpie pen. It just means that your prediction paper will have the bleed through showing through. And if that doesn't bother you, I think it looks a bit messy, but if that doesn't bother you, then that's fine. Go ahead and use a Sharpie pen. I prefer the one that doesn't have any bleed through. It just makes it look a bit cleaner. So in this case, the green one, the purple one, or the pink one have less bleed through. So I'm going to use my green pen, because I know that doesn't bleed through. Now you've got to think about what you're going to write, okay? You're going to think about what you're going to write. Of course, you can write in your own language if it's not English. You might want to practice first on one of the pieces of paper. And what is important is the line spacing. I always start with step 1, so I do a 1 and a circle. This is just practice, by the way. And you're going to write whole deck face down. And then step 2, I always put name a number between 1 and 52, and that's what you write there. Step 3 is deal the cards face up and stop at your number, and you write that there as well. So any of this can be any wording you choose and any instructions you choose. It's just got to fit on the top half. Now the most important step is number 4, which is here. What you're going to do is you're going to write over the 2 sections of the top half and the bottom half. So once you know what we're going to write, I'm going to write, you could have stopped at any card. So make sure that step 4 be right on the torn edge. Let me get rid of this, there we go. You could have stopped at any card. So let's go ahead and do that on the real piece now. To do that, I've got a board. It could be a clipboard or anything. And I'm going to clip them together to keep them in perfect alignment, right? So align them up like so. Clip them together. My clip is here. It's a bit fiddly, but once you've got a bit more time to do this, it's fine. So now you can see why it's important for the lines to line up. You see this line, otherwise it might be jagged. So this is where you're going to write. So you're going to write like so. I'm just going to do it very quickly now just to give you an idea. This is number 1, this is number 2, this is number 3, and number 4 I like to go over the line like this. So it's over the tear. Then there's going to be 5, 6, and 7 if you want, as much as you want. You're going to write your instructions here, like so. And the instruction you write for point 4, which is over the tear, should be quite generic and vague. What I use is you could have stopped at any number. So this is what I write. This is quite important now, to do it over the line. Go, when you write your words, write over the tear. You, could have stopped, and you continue writing underneath, etc. And then once you've done that for your first prediction, and obviously on the bottom of the bottom sheet you write the first false card. In this case it's 2 of spades, just an example. Then what you do, you take this off, you replace it with another sheet, like so. Get it all lined up again. Like so, get an alignment. And you continue with writing step 4, but be careful not to draw above the torn line. So just go up to where it meets, like so. 4, and that's a Y, so it's a U. That's an O, so I make that into an O. This is a U, so I continue like that. You could have, so that's a C, O, U, L, D, have, etc. And 5, 6, etc. And your next false card, which is a 6. So you repeat this for every single card. You put it back like that, underneath. You get it in alignment. Please, 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 I'm rushing at the moment, but please, please, please spend more time aligning carefully. Also, it's important that they're the same width, because if they're not the same width, and you can see it's sticking out like that, you'll need to get some scissors to trim it. So it's the same, because how can you tear a page in half and yet it doesn't align? This is why it's important it's all the same. Eventually, you're going to end up with this. You can see how I've torn straight through that word, that line of words, stopped at any. Okay? If you spend more time, just so you know, hold deck face down, name a number between 1 and 52, deal the cards face up and stop at your number. You could have stopped at any number, you could have chosen any card, and yet you freely chose the 10 of diamonds, which is one of the force cards. Then you have the 9 of clubs, then you have the 6 of hearts, and then you have chosen the 2 of spades, or whatever your force cards are. Again, you can write in any language you want. One important thing that I'd like to mention is the fact that I think it's a very, very good idea that the papers are torn in half, because it proves that they only ever come from one piece of paper, because the tear matches. So if there only ever one piece of paper involved, there's no way you could have switched either half because the tears match. And also I like the idea very much that the tear happens over some writing, because it forces them, because they can't read what the rest of the line says, it forces them to put the two halves together, A, so they can read what it says, but B, it subtly tells them that it is one piece of paper. I could have easily made the tear above the writing in a blank line, but I said, no, Angelo, do it in the middle of the writing, because that way it makes them put it together without you actually having to tell them to do so. So I really like that. I think it's cool. Actually, I think that's my favourite part of the whole trick. Now, quickly, I'll show you how you load the box. It's the same as before. Fold each section into quarters. This is a 6. I know this is my 6 section here. So you're using your thumb tip. Open up the flap, load it in, like so. This is my 9. Put the 9 inside like that. Okay. Close up. This is my 10. Like so. Finally, the 2, which I'm going to put here. Like so. So that's all four pieces loaded up. You put the deck inside. I'll just grab the deck. You put the deck inside, lean at an angle. You fold up this piece. Remember, this piece can be as long as you want it to be, because it's never going to be in a compartment. You can have additional words at the top. That's folded up. That goes on top as well. And the thumb tip goes on top, like so. Originally, I used to, in the first part of the video, I used to steal the thumb tip like this, then move the deck forward and take it out. But with this routine now, you have the piece of paper on top of the deck and the thumb tip as well. R.C. Wynne suggested to put it like this, because it means that when you reach inside, you can steal the thumb tip and the piece of paper in one go like that, which is really clean. So do that one more time. You open up the box, you tip it towards yourself a little bit, you go inside, you put your thumb in the thumb tip and just drag it out straight away, and it's ultra clean. You take the deck, you give it to them, you put the lid back on the box, and then you just go into the routine. So there's a lot of work there, but I think it's worth it. It's definitely worth it. I've shown a lot of friends and colleagues, and they think it's really, really strong. So I hope you enjoy it. You're probably wondering why I'm using such a large box to reveal such a small folded piece of paper, but there's a couple of reasons why. A, it's more theatrical. You've got a nice big box and people wondering what the heck is inside it. The second reason is it's nice actually because everything is self-contained. As you can see inside here, your thumb tip and your deck is already in the box. So the box justifies kind of like a carry case for the deck of cards. So it's all self-contained. You don't need to carry anything separately. So you can say to your audience, to your spectator, do you know what I've got inside this box? In this box, I've got 2 items. One is a deck of cards, and still out your thumb tip in the deck of cards. And the second item is something in the box, but we'll come to that in a moment when you put the lid on, which is apparently the prediction. Obviously there's nothing inside it, but you pretend there's a prediction already inside the box. Another thing you can do as well is put a piece of ribbon around the box or across the sides, like from each direction, and tie it into a nice little bow. So you've got a lovely looking gift package, and believe it or not, you can still operate the magnet through the ribbon. So you pick up the box, you turn the right side so it faces you as you're showing the box around, you trigger off the flap, you shake it, and you now hand the sealed box, the closed box, to the spectator, and they can undo the bow. And it's even more impressive because it's all self-contained and it's all closed and sealed. If you don't want to use the ribbon, you can just get the foil ribbons. Sometimes they've got a little sticky back. You peel off the sticky surface, the sticky paper, the clean paper, and you stick it back on top of the box. And that's another way of decorating the box as well. I do not think it will give beginners any trouble. However, some pointers I could suggest are, as the cards are being dealt by the spectator, silently say in your head, force card, force card, force card, every other card, so you know which are the force cards. Also, you might see, if let's say for example one of your force cards is a 3 of clubs, is a 3 of clubs, and sometimes you might see a 3 of spades and you go, oh, was that the force card or not? And you might get confused because it's a black 3 as well. What you could do beforehand is to get all the different cards and remove all the cards that are similar to the force cards and put them towards the bottom end of the deck. So only indifferent cards that match are not the same value as your force cards appear in between them. That will create less confusion if you follow my drift. So thank you very much for purchasing the gift. This is my gift to you and to magicians, and I hope you enjoy using it, and more importantly performing it and showing your friends and family and anyone else you care to show. If you have any questions, please do contact your dealer for additional advice and support and help. And I just hope you like it. I've fooled lots of respectable magicians for it, and they keep begging me to get it out. Angelo, when are you going to release it? When are you going to release it? Now you finally got it in your hands, and enjoy the gift.